Iris is feeling very needy right now, and she would like to say Happy New Year to everyone. And off she goes. Welcome to Sew Anastasia, and today we're gonna go over what a godet is, how to create one, and how to sew it. You can add a godet anywhere you can create a slit. It could be in pants, a skirt, or a dress, or even a blouse. So what is a godet? A godet is an inset of fabric that adds volume. For instance, if you were taking this fitted skirt and you wanted to add more volume to it, you could cut slits into the bottom of it and add these godets in it to open it up. If you were doing this to a pair of pants, you could do it on the sides and make them have a bell bottom at the very bottom. I was getting a lot of requests on how to make straight leg pants into bell bottoms. And well, this is the method, so follow along if that's what you want to do. So basically, wherever you put a godet, it's going to be adding more volume. Godets are really useful when you're upcycling because you can use them to make things bigger or just change the style up. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to draft and create the inset triangle godet. Now there are some different shaped godets out there which are a little more advanced, but today we're going to keep it simple. Just real quick, if you're really enjoying Sewing Anastasia, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to learn more about sewing, make sure you check out the online sewing academy. There's links down below. Now let's get back to creating this godet. Before we start drafting the godet, we need to figure out how long do we want the slit on our project that we're going to be putting in the godet. We need this measurement to draft the godet. For today's demo, I'm going to be using a slit length of 9 inches. This slit length though could be any length. It could be 36 inches. It could be all the way up to your high hip. You can make this slit length as long or as short as you want, and this method will work for you. I'm going to pattern draft the godet so it's nice and easy to see, but you could also just trace this out with chalk on your fabric. The first thing I'm going to do is draw the center of the godet, and I wanted it 9 inches long. So I'm just going to put a little mark at the top and the bottom, and now I have one line that's 9 inches long. Now what we need to do is figure out how much volume do we want our godet to have. You could do just 2 inches total. You could make it really big and make it like 24 inches total. It is totally up to you. But the bigger your triangle is going to be, the more fabric you're going to be adding. I've decided I'm going to make mine 8 inches in total. So I'm going to measure 4 inches out on this side and 4 inches out on that side. So let's go ahead and measure 4 inches out on this side. And I'm just going to draw a straight line here. And then I'm going to measure 4 inches out on this side. Okay, now that I know how wide I want my godet, now we have to finish drawing it. So our godet needs to be 9 inches long everywhere. So we're going to start at the top of the triangle here. And I'm going to start with my ruler at 1, and I'm going to swing the ruler over until 9 hits that line that I drew. And now I know that the side of the triangle is 9 inches long. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. So again, you start at 1 at the tip, and then just swing your ruler over until 9 hits that 4-inch mark line. Now we have the sides of the triangle, but you can see that the sides here are higher than the center. So what we need to do is connect these, but we don't want it to have an angle. So if I just connected these right now, you would see that we're ending up with a bit of a point here. So we want this to have a nice little curve, which means we want 9 inches down from the center everywhere. So what you can do is just continue to draw 9-inch little marks from center, and then you're going to connect these little dots. You could also use a tape measure and an awl for this. There's some different tools out there on the market to help you, but if all you have is a ruler and a pencil, this totally works. And this is going to give us that perfect hem 9 inches down from the top. So you can see we've got this nice little curved line happening. I'm going to show you one more method which I love, and that is using the tape compass. So if we flip it over, you can see we've got a pointy bit on this end, and you can see we've got a pencil on this end. So what we're going to do is take the pointy bit and we're going to put it at the tip of the triangle. We're going to push it in, and then I'm going to squeeze this in, and we're going to bring it down to the 9-inch mark. And now all I need to do is hold the top here where the pointy bit is, and we're just going to swing that over to the 9-inch mark, and it gives us that perfect, beautiful curve connecting those 2 points. So if you don't have this tool, I highly recommend it if you're doing pattern drafting. It is really, really helpful. So now that we have the shape of the godet, all we need to do is add seam allowance. So we're going to do 1/4 of an inch on the sides, and then for the hem down here on the bottom, use the hem amount that's on your project. If you don't have a pre-made project, I want you to use 1/4 of an inch, something really nice and small, because this is a curve. So we're just gonna line up the ruler with 1/4 inch and draw our lines, and we're gonna get our seam allowance just like that. Now I'm going to add it at the bottom, still lining up the ruler with 1/4 inch, just working my way all the way across the bottom. You could also use your compass tape measure again as well, just extend it 1/4 of an inch. Here we go. So now we have our godet and we have our 1/4 inch seam allowance everywhere. And that is how you pattern draft a godet. And again, you can do this directly on the fabric. You don't have to use paper and make a template first. But if you're sewing a lot of them, template's always great. I'm gonna cut this out of paper and fabric real quick, and then we're gonna go over exactly how to sew this in detail. So I have my godet cut out, and now we're ready to put it into a slit. This is the piece of fabric I'm going to be adding the godet to in the center. Now my godet was 9 inches long, but I have seam allowance on the bottom of my godet. I had 1/4 inch. So we're gonna make this 9 1/4 inches long. So we're gonna come up 9 1/4, and then we're gonna stop there. And now what we're going to do is we are going to cut this line open directly to 9 1/4. Just to review, your slit length is however long you want the slit, plus the seam allowance you allowed for your hem. And I allowed 1/4 inch for my hem, so my slit is 9 1/4. Now we're gonna cut open the slit. And we're gonna cut directly to the end of it. Now that we have our slit, what we need to do is open this up and sew this godet into here. But sewing this up and getting the point to lay perfectly smooth is really tricky. So let me give you some tips for that. To make this easy to sew, I want you to draw in your 1/4 inch seam allowance on the first few inches at the top here of the godet. So that way you know exactly where the 1/4 inch overlaps at the top, because that is where we need to stop sewing and pivot. So this point right here is crucial into sewing this perfectly. Now that we have everything set up, we're gonna pin it in and sew it together. So we're gonna take the right side of the fabric and the right side of the godet. I'm gonna start at the bottom here and just start pinning up. Now when we get up to the top here, we wanna make sure that our slit point is right at the tip of the triangle where the seam allowances meet, not way up here, but right there. So we're going to line up that point and pin it. And then work our way down the side here. Okay, so I usually just pin one side, and then when I get to this pivot point up here, everything else will just sew together real nice. I put my 1/4 inch foot on since my seam allowance is going to be 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna start at the bottom. I'm gonna work my way up to that tip. Since I'm sewing on a cotton, I'm just using a regular stitch length of 2.5. Now when I get to the tip here, you're gonna notice that the triangle is moving out away from the slit. And that's okay, because what I'm doing is making sure that the tip of the slit is at that spot where the 1/4 inch and the 1/4 inch line up. So we're essentially just blending over to that tip. Think of it like the edge of a dart, the tip of a dart. And then when we get to that little spot, leave your needle in, lift up your foot, and we're gonna take the whole project and swing it around. Now you can see we've got the triangle there, and now we've got the other side of the slit. And now we're gonna do the same thing. We're just going to blend over there on the top. So now it's like, essentially we're at like the tip of a dart. Make sure everything is out of the way though. Make sure you're not gonna be sewing any pleats up there. The tip of this is always the trickiest, but if you keep your stitches really close to the little tip of the slit, it's gonna turn out great. back stitch at the bottom, and let's take a look at it. So you can see how we have this extra inset of fabric here. And when I open this up, you can see that that triangle of fabric is right in there. It's got that nice curve at the bottom. So that way it's the same length as our project when it is hanging up straight. And look at how much more volume this gives us here at the bottom. So imagine this being a pant leg or the bottom of a skirt or a dress, and you can add these fancy insets of fabric. So you can see we've got it sewn in all the way up to the tip, and I know you want to see the sewing of that tip, so let's take a close look at it. I'm going to turn this around here, and when I pull this back, you can see that we sewed just right up to the very edge of that slit. That's what's giving us that really nice point. And then there's just that extra seam allowance. And when I flatten this open too, you can see that we stopped stitching right where I put that intersection for the seam allowance. So right here. And that is how you draft and sew a Godet. Now you can have so much fun with Godets. Again, consider adding them to your upcycles to add more volume and change up the style, or maybe you just want to create something from scratch and add some Godets. Thanks so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave it down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. Where would you add Godets? Sleeves, hems, pants, dresses, bell bottoms? Let me know. And if you're really enjoying Sewing Anastasia, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. And let me know what kind of new sewing videos you want to see this year. Leave it down below in the comments. And if you want to learn more about sewing, make sure you check out the online sewing academy and classes in person in my studio here in Chicago. There's links down below for everything. And if you want to know what I'm working on right now, well, make sure you check out my Instagram stories. Thanks so much for watching today. Bye.